This is the plaintiff, Raul Morales II. He says he met the defendant at work and ended up renting a room from her in her house. A short time later, she accused him of stealing $900 cash. He didn't steal a thing, but moved out because he wasn't comfortable there anymore. The defendant went around telling everyone at work he was a thief, which he isn't, and he's suing her now in this court for the security she owes him and for defamation in the total amount of $5,000. This is the defendant, Valerie. She says she busted him stealing cash from her, and when she told him she was going to tell the world he was a thief, he fled her home. She filed a police report. The defendant got mad and entered her house, destroying her things, including punching a 55-inch flat-screen TV, and he's owed nothing. She's accused of filing a false report. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $2,643 for damaged belongings.
All parties, please use your right hand. Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Morales, how do you two know each other?
We previously worked together.
All right, and when you say previously, how long ago?
2018.
Okay. So you end up renting a room at her home when you're still working together, or no?
No.
You know,
my father was working there. I got the job from my father, and he still worked there with her.
So you get the room, and you're paying how much a month?
$850.
And you pay a security deposit of $850.
Yes.
And what happens?
She started texting me, and she's telling me how she keeps misplacing. One day she misplaced a certain amount of money, and 2 days later she started texting me saying that she lost $900.
Can I see the text?
Yes.
While he's looking for that, why don't you tell me what went wrong between you two as roommates or housemates?
Ma'am, I had no disagreements with him up until the day he fled the home. We never even had an argument.
What's fled the home mean?
On Friday morning, on the 8th of November, I busted him stealing money from my purse. And
how did you bust him?
I woke up about 5:30, 6 o'clock. I snuck downstairs. He was in the kitchen, leaning over the table, in my pocketbook with my wallet on the table. I asked him what he was doing. He claimed he was looking for mail. I said, in my pocketbook? How are you looking for mail in my pocketbook? He then picked up a Yankee Trader off the table and left the kitchen area through the dining room, went back upstairs to his room.
Did you bust him stealing your money?
I didn't see him with actually any money. I saw my wallet on the table. He was digging in my pocketbook. After he left, the pouch that contained $982 was
Why do you have
missing.
$982 in your pocketbook
Because
downstairs?
I had taken money out of the...
No, why is it downstairs?
Because I have this bad habit of leaving it in my work purse in the kitchen on the wall against the phone.
Right, but why? You have a roommate. Well,
I also have video cameras in the house. But
is he on video rummaging through your...
He should have been on video, except the video was knocked out on the... I went to bed on the 2nd, November 2nd, November 3rd. There was no video. The video was completely
How was there
down.
no video?
The video
What
was
do you mean by the phrase knocked out?
I have like a video surveillance system that covers 8 cameras that covered
What does the
home.
phrase knocked out mean?
Oh, meaning no longer operative. I'm very sorry.
What does that mean? Did somebody take a bat and hit it, or is your stuff just not working?
No, I thought it was shorted out. It wasn't working. It just said on the screen offline, meaning that it was no longer recording.
And were you able to get it back online?
Not until I called the tech. And when the tech came out, I thought that the storm knocked it out. The tech said the hard drive was missing from the console.
According to him, the hard drive is missing. May I see that in writing from the tech?
I only have the replacement. Yes, I have the bill from the tech.
If it's just a bill for a new hard drive, that doesn't prove the hard drive was missing.
It is. And I later said I should have gotten...
That might prove that the hard drive had to be replaced, but let me see your bill anyway.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. I kind of thought of that.
Just a second, sir. There's no question pending.
Okay.
This is for the hard drive. This is for the installation. I'll give you both.
On November 8th, there's a text from her to you. The money I made yesterday at Village. What is Village?
That's the place that we both mutually used to work at. That's the kid.
Just what kind of place is it?
It's a taxi service, ma'am.
Okay. At Village that I left in my money pouch downstairs in kitchen chair. has also grown legs and walked away like the pouch with cash and check in envelope. Something's up. I either have a ghost or somebody's robbing me. Difference this time is I have discovered it in the middle of the night. Also, if possible, I'll take the rent. He answers, you need to stop taking your pills and drinking alcohol with them. Maybe you should first start by stopping that, then maybe you'll start to remember where you stash your blank. You obviously hiding the money on yourself, and no, I need till the 10th day for rent. I don't have it all at this moment.
The day for rent was the 11th.
The day for rent was the 11th.
No, the 10th.
You answer, has nothing to do with my money disappearing. I left the money
Oh, you're right.
in the kitchen chair. Please tell me what taking a pill and drinking has to do with my money disappearing. I've been drinking and taking pills for years. If you have nothing productive or constructive to say to me, don't say anything to me at this point. He answers, I don't know, but you're starting to annoy me now with this whole losing blank and then accusing everyone because you're losing everything. To which you answer, I did not accuse anyone. To which he answers, I'm not a little kid. I know someone is insinuating when they keep bringing up the same thing. And this isn't something new. You're always losing things. It goes back and forth, and then at some point he says, who loses their money? Who does that? Not me, sorry, but that's one thing I don't ever just lose. I don't lose money 2 days in a row. There's a problem when things like this start happening. This doesn't sit well with me, and I will probably start looking for somewhere else to live. When do you say he stormed off? Or fled, as you said?
Morning, the 8th.
What day?
November, that was a Friday.
She told me to leave.
I have a question for you.
Thank you.
If you saw him rummaging in your purse, why isn't any of that texted? Why are you talking about, hey, money's missing, instead of, caught you with your hands in my purse? Why aren't you texting that?
I was talking to him upstairs because when he left the room, he went back upstairs.
I don't know what that means. That's not an answer to my question.
He left.
It is now. You told me you woke up at what time?
5:30, quarter 6.
Correct.
6
This is
o'clock, give or take.
6:36. This is an hour later.
Okay.
And if you found him an hour ago with his hands in the cookie jar, then I expect that what you're going to say is, wow, I'm missing money. There must be a ghost or someone's robbing. I'd expect you to say, the heck were you doing with your hands in my purse? I'm missing money from my purse. In fact, if you caught him, if you really did catch him with his hands in your purse, I would expect that the first thing you'd do is check for the money.
I did.
And what?
After he fled the kitchen through the dining room.
At 5 in the morning?
Whatever time I started texting him, I could be off on the time.
No. You're not texting him. He's in front of your face. His hands are in the purse.
Yes.
Why don't you walk to the purse and check for the money then?
He fled the area. I stood in the door talking to him. I stood in the hallway talking to him, linking into the kitchen. He's over in my purse against the wall. I said to him, what are you doing? He said he was looking for mail.
What do you keep touching there? What are you doing?
She wants me to calm down.
It doesn't matter. I don't mind that you're excited.
Thank you.
I'm just not understanding you.
Yes, ma'am. I was startled, first of all. My heart's pounding because now I know this guy's in my purse.
So what'd you do between 5 and 6:30 when you start texting him, hey, money's missing?
Timing might have been off.
Okay,
I didn't do anything. I was standing at the door.
When you text him,
yes.
How come I don't see as the first text, where did you go? Why did you leave? Why were your hands in my purse? Why is it that what I see instead, get him back up, please. Why is it that what I see instead is, wow, there's got to be a ghost in here or something because now this is 2 days in a row that I'm missing money. It sounds like you don't know what happened to your money in the text. It doesn't sound like you caught him. What was the word? I busted him. It doesn't sound like that when I read the text.
Well, I started texting him shortly after he fled the area.
Yeah, that's when it's even more guilty. I caught him with his hands in the purse.
Yes.
I busted him, and he fled like the common thief he is. Did you call the police?
Yes.
When?
Saturday.
Saturday?
Yes.
Did you call the police on November 8th at 6:36?
No, because when he fled, he said that
That's Friday.
If he saw me in the streets, he would do me. I do.
And then you decided you didn't care if he did you on Saturday and did call the police?
I did because if I explained to some people that we knew, they insisted you have to make the police report. I said, it's not going to bring my money back. My money's gone.
Why are you saying this is a mystery that needs solving if you literally caught him with his hands in your purse? Did she catch you with your hands in her purse?
No, and I was
right. And did you flee when she said, "I'm going to tell everyone at work what a thief you are" with her 9 to Did you flee?
I left 2 days later after I tried to make amends with her. She tells me, "No, you're not longer welcome in my house. Get your stuff and get out." That's what she tells me, because I didn't want to just leave like that.
Okay, and I'm telling you I don't steal. I believe you that you don't steal. That's what you have me say to you at this point. I have my own stuff. I don't need your little bit of stuff. And then she says, you put yourself in my shoes, then you decide what you'd be thinking right now. Money doesn't just disappear, especially when they're in the house and I haven't gone anywhere. So again, please stop. The more you try to explain something that has nothing to do with you, the more guilty you sound. Consider that. Why aren't you saying, I don't need your help. I've done this without you my entire career.
All right.
Why aren't you saying, you know you're guilty, that's why you fled. What were you doing with your hands in my purse a moment ago? Why isn't that coming out? You know why? Because it didn't happen. You didn't see him. You didn't bust him, and you didn't see him with your hands up. You think he took your money because your money's missing. You haven't found it, and he's the only other guy there.
No, ma'am. May I say something?
Just a second. I want to keep reading these.
Yes, ma'am.
I think it's because I was drinking and I hid it somewhere. Even if that were the case, it should turn up. Can't be anywhere except my room or the porch of the house. I think you meant you think it's because I was drinking and I hid it somewhere. So again, the more you try to justify my situation, the guiltier you look if it has nothing to do with you. Then you should not be annoyed by my sharing the experience. None of that makes any sense. I'd be embarrassed of myself to have lost money for the second time in 1 week, and you lost your weed the week before that. I'm sorry, but it seems like a pattern, and it's not going to get any better, especially if you continue to drink alcohol while taking all those pills. That cannot be good for you. To which you answer, true. But again, it has little to do with things. Disappearing, I'm here in the house. Women has everything to do with it, because if you weren't drinking, you'd know where you stashed it on yourself. I don't actually drink that much. I only take 1 or 2 or 3 shots for the evening, along with a few tokes with you. You worked on Rikers Island?
Yes, ma'am.
You were what?
Retired corrections officer.
Corrections officer.
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, there is literally hours of text and not one mention of hand in the cookie jar.
When he left the kitchen, he ran upstairs to his room. I never saw actually any monies in his hand. My money was in the purse when I went to bed. Not only did that money disappear, this purse disappeared in October. It was later discovered in the closet after he moved out in November. This purse
In what closet?
In the pantry closet. It had 257.
What's the pantry closet? Is that only his, or is that his and yours?
No, it's in my pantry, in my kitchen.
Okay, well, what was it doing there?
The pouch was found after it disappeared in October, second week of October.
So you found one of the things you said he took?
Yes, ma'am.
And was there money and...
The monies was missing, but the reason I know there was $257 in here is because whenever I stash money in the pouch, I write on the pouch how much money's in the pouch, the date, the time that I put in the pouch.
On the pouch?
No, I put it in the pouch. I write on the deposit slip, and I put it in the pouch,
And?
the date, the time, and the amount of monies. This pouch went missing in October. I discovered the pouch in the pantry closet 30 days after he moved out. I was glad to just get the pouch back.
And then you find out there's an additional $137 missing from a desk drawer. He tells you over and over again to check your cameras. That's why you have them.
He had knocked them out. They were offline already.
You keep saying that, but again, you have no evidence of that.
You're correct.
I asked you to show me how
Yes.
someone stole the hard drive. There's a missing, because that's nefarious.
Yes.
If there's a hard drive missing, show me how someone stole a hard drive. And you don't have that. And if someone stole a hard drive, you'd have that. You have a safe, but you put the money in different pockets and pouches and purses all over?
Ma'am, it's a large house. I live
right.
alone. It's mostly just me there. So yes, am I lax about laying money around? I won't deny that.
You shouldn't be anymore.
I will not be, but I have no reason to lie here.
Yeah, one reason to lie is that he wants his security deposit back.
Right.
And he's suing you for his security deposit, and your defense to giving it back to him is to say that he stole $928.
No, that's not why I'm not, no, ma'am. That's not
why are you not giving him back his security deposit?
Not because he stole the money. I'm not giving him back the security because he destroyed property in my home.
How did he destroy? Tell me about that. How did he destroy
The television
property?
in the living room, somebody punched it.
When?
I don't know when. I discovered it after he moved out, but there was only he and I in the home. I had no
Right,
visitors.
but wasn't the police there when he came back to move?
Yes, and I believe...
Okay, so if the police were there,
the
how did he punch it?
Yes, he punched it prior to them coming.
When did he punch it?
Somewhere before the 8th, because he fled.
See, if I walked up to my TV one day and saw a punch, I'd know when I saw that.
I didn't see the punch until the 20th. He moved out on the 10th. I can only tell you the truth.
Can I see a picture of the punch in the television?
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Let me see that. So you blame him. Who's the lady who keeps trying to interrupt us?
That's my daughter. I'm sorry,
Okay,
sir.
go ahead.
Your Honor, I'm looking for another picture now of the TV before it was broken. I wanted to say I didn't even notice it, and I wanted to ask if she has time after someone moves out to look for damages.
Yes, you should be. First of all, in circumstances like this, I would expect you to be looking around for things, already. But the problem is a proof problem. You're trying to say he punched my TV, but you didn't even notice it until 10 days after he was gone. This also doesn't look like a punch. This looks like something hit it when somebody was, carrying something and something hit it. So that becomes just a little. Yeah, you could claim it a year later. You could claim it 4 years. 4 years, 2 years later. But you're going to have a proof problem if you don't notice it in all that time and he's not there and other people are there.
There has been no one there. That's just
I'm
it.
sure nobody else. All right. Yeah.
Okay.
In small claims court, because your deposit will be used to pay. Oh, you tell me. You have a lawsuit against him, a counterclaim, where you are asking for $850 for the TV, $400 for a security system, $200 for the filtration canister on the fish tank, $130 for Giorgio Armani glasses because they're scratched, so you think he scratched them.
I believe he did.
Where do you get that?
Because
what evidence do you have?
They were not. I don't have any physically. They were not scratched when I've had three pairs.
Okay. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
I do.
Like how silly that sounds. All right. An alarm sensor, a squeegee. How did he ruin your squeegee?
He tore it apart and brought it to me and told me it fell apart. Would you like to see the squeegee?
Okay, so this is while he was still living there.
Yes, ma'am.
This is you. I feel really sorry for your sorry blank. Kiss my blank. I told everyone at the village what you did, and I'm going to continue to tell anybody who mentions your name to me what you did here. Have a nice life, or see me in court, you piece of blank. He answers, what TV? We did a walkthrough with the police on 1110, and there was nothing mentioned about a television. And you say, you piece of blank. You know you broke the TV as well as up the fish filter. Do you want your money? Take me to court. That's the only way you're getting a dime from me. Until set time, please leave me the alone.
Then I blocked them. Because if I didn't block her, there would be a lot more text messages than that.
Your Honor?
You're accusing him of breaking a vase. When did you notice that? Because 30 days later, you hadn't noticed that.
No, I did. And this is a letter that I gave.
Show me the damage that you say he did in your text is the TV and the filtration. I've seen a picture of the TV. Do you have a picture of what you're talking about with the filtration canister?
Yes.
What did he do to the filtration canister?
He disconnected it from under the fish tank, and he turned it upside down and took the gasket. And then plugged it back in, so now it's running. It's just leaking water under the base of the fish tank.
Tell me how you didn't notice that.
Because it's a huge fish tank. Give her this.
I'm sorry. If there's water leaking from the bottom, how do you not notice that when the police are there?
It's in the living room in the corner, in the far corner. It's a large home.
Well, but if there's a leak where water's leaking is that carpeting or wood?
No, it's wood, but the tank is all the way over.
Doesn't it start to collect?
No, ma'am, it did. It was starting to collect. This has a base in it. There's a base in it, so there was water all on the inside of this.
What do you think he did? What is it now?
He turned the canister. Where's the canister? Did we give her a canister? No, I need the one. Did you give it to him? No.
That's a vase.
They're here. The canister's here. There's the canister.
Wait. Give me the vase.
Your Honor.
Stop. This is a vase knocked on the ground and cracked. You didn't notice that until how many days later?
It was pushed in the corner. It was pushed up against the radiator. When I went to mop the floor, it fell over, and I saw it broken.
Maybe you broke it.
No, ma'am, I didn't. I would tell you if I did. I have no reason.
It fell over. Maybe you broke it.
That's the filtration.
Okay.
What is this?
That's the canister.
I can't tell
That's
how
the
big it is.
filtration
How big
canister.
is it?
It's big. It's like a garbage can. It's
2
right about
foot
this
by
size.
1, Your Honor. Your Honor.
You like that? And what do you say he did to it?
If you see the other picture, did you give it the one where it's turned upside down? You'll see the gasket's missing. It's missing the Yes, that's the one in your right hand. Look at the 4 corners.
A little gasket is missing, and you think he went to your fish tank.
No, I know he did that.
Lifted the thing.
Yes, ma'am.
Took
it out.
4 little rubber gaskets.
Took the one
on
out.
it. 1 gasket is missing.
Reconnected
And
it.
you believe that and by you calling it a gasket, it's just a little rubber pad that
Yes,
goes on
but
the bottom.
if it's not in there, the water runs
So he
out.
removed a little rubber pad from your fish tank. That doesn't sound nutty to you. A little rubber pad from your fish tank. And so now he's responsible for damages for this because a little rubber pad is missing here. As opposed to if we went by my house and looked at the 4 legs of anything and one of them would be missing somewhere.
Okay.
Oh, my
Your
Lord.
Honor, when you're done with that, may I?
He's suing for $4,150 for defamation of character. Talk to me.
Well, my father and her both worked there at the same time. My father had multiple employees coming back to him saying that she was telling everyone, oh, your son, oh, we heard your son stole all this money from Valerie. Like, just multiple employees from Village saying that she's telling them that I stole.
Do you have any priors?
Yes.
What are they?
Nothing for robbery.
I'll be the judge of that. What are they?
Possession, assaults, and sales.
Okay. Nothing related to theft?
Nothing related to theft.
All right.
Nothing.
But there's no evidence you stole the money. I don't believe what she says that your hand was in her purse. Even if you were looking for mail on a table where the thing was in her purse, the evidence is so clear that every time she turns around, she remembers more money, that to me, this is completely unreliable. And I find there to be zero evidence to prove that you stole that money. Period. Okay?
Thank you.
So you are entitled to your $850 security deposit returned. Now, she claims that you did all this damage. Most all of this damage, except for, I guess, the squeegee that fell apart, most all of this damage, most of them are on there once you filed a counterclaim, because they never came up until now, including things like there's a scratch on my glasses, he must have done them. There's a piece of rubber on the 4 rubber base of this, so he must have done that. I mean, it's just nutty. And no, on your counterclaim against him, we are done. And I am telling you, I am issuing an order, stop. Because it's one thing for you to feel he's a thief, but now I am making a judicial ruling that there is just zero evidence that he took your money. So now you must stop, okay? Because he may have a defamation case after this, all right? You don't have a $4,000 defamation case based on the fact that she feels you stole her money. You do have $850 in your pocket from your security
thank you. Appreciate
deposit,
that.
and you have zero on the counterclaim. That's
Yes,
my...
ma'am.
Well, the plaintiff is going to get his security deposit back. Valerie, you couldn't substantiate or prove any of your charges. You made a lot of charges against him.
I did, but they're all true, and it's okay because I believe in karma, and what goes around comes around, and it will come back around.
Okay. But
Okay.
you understand why you lost. You just didn't have the right evidence.
Yes, I understand. But no one else lived in the home except he and I, so I'm certain that all the damages that occurred, he indeed caused them, whether I won here or not.
Thank you very much. All right, Mr. Morales, you didn't get more than your security, but you are going to get that.
Right, that's pretty much, that was my goal, to just at least get my security deposit.
$800 back.
Right, and now I have a chance to, if she does open her mouth, sue again for defamation of character.
All right, well, let's see what happens. Well, okay, thank
Have
you
a
very
good
much.
day.
Good luck. Thank you. Okay.
Pleasure
Very
meeting
good. Harvey?
You know, what I'm thinking here, Doug, is that there wasn't solid proof one way or the other whether this plaintiff stole money, that it was all kind of up in the air. It turns out that he didn't. And that's why he didn't get money on defamation, because there was no proof going into this thing. Now we know she's on notice. If she does it again, she's going to lose it.
This is the plaintiff, Dennis Deegan. He says his soon-to-be ex-wife maliciously damaged his vehicle when he told her he wanted a divorce. And no matter what he does, he can't seem to get her to pay what she owes him. He's had enough of the royal runaround he's been getting and looks forward to finally ending things once and for all in this court as he seeks the $5,000 he's owed. This is the defendant, Jamie. She says the plaintiff became very jealous of her and her friends. The age difference between them didn't help matters, but he was always grumpy and no fun to be with. This guy has lied to the cops by telling them she tried to kill him. He's lying about the damage to the vehicle, and this lawsuit is just his lame attempt to somehow hurt her even more than he already has. She's accused of going to town on a car.
All parties, please raise your right hand. Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Okay, how did you two meet?
We met in South America. I was on a vacation trip,
Where?
Colombia,
Okay, what city?
Cali.
And how did you two meet? Somebody introduced you, or you ran into each other, or what?
We ran into each other online, talked a little bit.
Okay, and you dated for how long?
I'd say about maybe 10 years before we got serious.
How did you become serious all of a sudden? Were you spending more time in Cali?
Yes, We spent more time together.
Did she come here?
Yes. I brought her and her daughter up on vacation a couple times with a
Okay.
tourist visa. And we seem to be very compatible.
Okay. So can I ask you a question? How old are you?
I will be 60.
And how old are you?
38.
38.
38.
Okay. Go on.
Things were progressing very nicely. So
Okay.
we decided, I guess in 2014 it was, become engaged. And we started working on the visa stuff for a permanent residency visa here.
Okay. And did you succeed?
Oh, yeah.
So you got her and her daughter to America when?
They arrived in end of July 2018.
So 4 years later. It took 4 years?
About 2.
Okay.
Yeah, I started the visa application after we got married.
Okay. When did you get married?
February of 2016.
Okay. And where did you get married? There or here?
There.
Okay. So what happens? They finally come. It's 2018. And how does it work?
Oh, it was great for like 6-7 months.
And then what happened?
I don't know, just some other problems creeped up that weren't expected, and
Like
it
what?
kind of drifted apart.
Like what?
Well, I guess the first one was she didn't want to sleep in the same room.
Okay.
That's kind of hard on a newlywed couple.
And what were the reasons that she would give?
She can't sleep with anybody else.
Okay.
So, we tried to work through that. There was, I don't know.
Now that she was in America, did you feel like maybe she didn't like you that much?
No, not for the first 6 months was just like heaven. God, I was so happy.
So then what is the reason you attribute the turn to then from 6 months to 6 months and 1 day? Were there arguments? What was it?
There's some things which I found out along the way that I can't discuss here in court because of
Why?
other cases.
Because what?
There's other cases pending.
So what? Well, how does that mean you can't discuss it? I'm trying to understand and get at the root of which of you is going to be lying to me today, because one of you is. So I need to understand what the dynamics are. I know for a fact, because you've discussed it plenty, and so has she, that there have been protection orders and there's a criminal case pending. I know all that. So is that what you're referring to?
No.
Okay, then what are you referring to?
Her husband in Colombia.
Okay, and what?
Her husband in Colombia.
Meaning that she is a bigamist?
She filed improperly her immigration visa. She's still married, technically, to the gentleman in Colombia.
All right, let's talk to you. What happened here? You spent a long time. You knew him a long time. Were you in love with him?
Yes, of course, I was really in love of him for many, many years. And then we got married, and then we made everything, the papers, the visa.
How often would you see each other when you were still in Cali and he was, where are you from, Long Island? And
Yes,
you were in New York. How often would you guys see each other?
He was going to Colombia every 3 times per year, something
Okay.
like that. That was not 10 years, that was 13 years going.
13 years.
13
okay.
years.
Okay, go on.
Yeah, and he was going and coming, going and coming. And we was just friends for the start. And then we contact more times and more. And then we come to live here because when he was going there for vacation, that was amazing. He was a nice man. My family loved him. But after I came
So you get married, you come to the United States with your daughter.
with my daughter, with my permanent visa, yes.
With your permanent visa. So
Yeah.
now you're here. All right. The first 6 months he says were great. You guys were getting along great. Everything was fine. Is that true or not true?
It's true. It's
Okay,
really
then
true.
what happened? What went
because
wrong?
I was using the house and I was cleaning, I was taking care of everything in the house. But when he say, okay, it's enough, I don't have too much money, you have to help me with everything in the house. I say, okay, because he say, I pay the car. He gave me the car as a present.
The
When I
car
come-
in question, he gave it to you as a present?
A present when I come to live here.
Why isn't it in your name?
They try in the dealer, the man in the dealer.
The dealer. Is
that
tried
true?
He tried to put
Did the dealer try to put it in her name?
My name down the car.
Yes or no?
No.
Yes.
Why did you just go like that? Because that's very non-convincing.
Well-
So according to you, how do you get the car? It was a present for Christmas?
No, it's just because I come to live here.
Okay.
And I was using his car. I say, nah, you don't need my car. You need to be, you need yourself car.
Independent.
Independent,
So
yes.
he gives you a car, and then what happens?
And then that was everything fine. But when he say, I spent too much money in the security car for your cell phone, for food and everything, the taxes.
So he suggests that maybe it's time for you to get a job.
Yeah, and I say, okay, I will get a job.
Okay.
When I got a job,
What job did you get?
I got a job bartender.
Bartending. Okay.
And then I was working in the night, and he's actually working every time in the night also, so that was fine. But when I come to live to stay in the house in the night, I just want to sleep, and he was sleeping also, so I was so tired because for that time I was working 11 hours in the bartender. So after that, of course, working there, I made a couple of friends, two, 3 friends.
Okay.
And that's it.
So did your husband not like that you had made your own friends and had your own life and weren't sleeping in the marital bed anymore?
He was fine.
And then?
And then, I don't know, he was so jealous and always jealous and jealous. He say, you have more friends here living in 6 months than me living in here in all my life. He has no friends.
And it was bothering him, why? Because you were spending time away from him? Or because you were on the phone all the time? Because what?
No, I was working a lot, many hours, 10, 12 hours. I was working hard.
All right. So does it come as a surprise when he says, this isn't working out, I want a divorce? Were you surprised?
I was so surprised. And he said, no, I will sell the house and I will go back to Colombia because if you are good here, you can stay here with your daughter.
Okay. So you speak to a divorce lawyer and he speaks to a divorce lawyer. Your divorce lawyer tells you don't leave the house. That's a bad tactical move in a divorce, which is true. And you should stay there because then it looks like you're the one abandoning the marriage. And, we're going to fight about all this stuff later. So let's, so you don't leave the house. And then what happens?
After that, 3 days later, he take the plates in the car, from the car. He come with the police to take the plates.
And you're both in the house and the police come?
Yeah, I was there in the house.
And the police come and he's with the police and he's taking the plates off?
Yeah, and I told the police why he made that. This is the car that he gave me as a present. And the police say, it is down his name, so he's making exactly what he wanted to do.
Okay, now according to you, the reason that you were doing that is because she had taken off for 3 days.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and you didn't know where she was? Were you calling her, worried about her?
After she failed her driver's test for the 4th time.
Okay.
4th time, brilliantly.
Don't talk to her and don't... Whoa, stop.
Yes, ma'am.
Do not talk to her and don't be sarcastically insulting her in my courtroom. Go ahead.
Naturally, she was upset. She grabbed the keys to the vehicle.
Did her lack of driving skills bother you any when you were dating her and when you brought her over here and when you married someone
her
20
lack
years
of
younger
driving
than you,
skills
who
only
looks like her? Did that bother you?
No. The only thing that bothered me was the ticket she was racking
up. That stuff wasn't coming up to play?
Oh, she's very smart.
Oh, okay.
She's very smart.
Oh, why that little side brilliantly? Why was that? What was that about?
Well, she has a difficulty listening at times.
Sometimes they just won't listen. Okay, so in any event, after she fails her 4th driving test brilliantly, what happens?
We on the way home, she's having a conversation with her other friend in the car on the phone. And basically, I guess she didn't realize that I was understanding what she was saying. But what I was hearing is, no, I'm with Dennis. No, that something, driving instructor, don't know what they're talking about. They failed me again. Oh, no, don't worry. I'm carrying something in my pocketbook. If he tries anything, I'll use it.
Okay.
At which point I stopped conversing.
Why would she think that you were going to try something?
I have no idea.
Had there ever been any domestic violence between the two of you?
Not to that point, no.
To what point then?
Well, to the point that I was finding kitchen knives under pillows where she sleeps, under the radiator.
Why would she think she needs kitchen knives?
I don't know, man.
Why did you think you needed knives? Is he just making that up?
He lies so much. I didn't ever...
Were you talking to a friend and talking about protection?
No.
All right. So she takes off, there's an argument, I guess, and then she takes off for 3 days?
After I gave her the divorce papers and gave her a choice.
What was the choice?
Be the woman and the wife that, you were for 6 months, or contact this attorney and we can work out a reasonable, no contest divorce.
Okay. And then she takes off because you're upset. Where do you go for those 3 days? Or did you leave for 3 days?
No, I stayed in the house. And
You never left for 3 days?
I never left. I was, because my attorney said, no, you have to stay there. So I'm scared. I don't want to stay there.
Did you sleep anywhere else for 3 days? Like, did you stay with a friend?
No.
'Cause you were upset? Nothing.
No, I was going.
So he comes with the police and he takes the plates off the car, and then what happens?
I went to the police because my attorney told me you have to go to the police because it is going through the divorce case.
So he tells you to go to the police regarding the plates.
Yep.
Okay, and then what happens?
The police told me, "Are you scared? Why are you so scared?" I said, "I don't know. I'm feeling that he is so grumpy." And they say, "Do you think he has a gun or something in his house?" He say, "I remember that he showed me his gun," and I told the police yes. But I say, I don't think he's going to use that gun against me because I don't know. I was not so scared, but I really in that time. I didn't figure out he was going to be so bad and make so nasty divorce.
Okay, so you tell the police about his gun and what happens?
And the police say, okay, stay here, don't get out. And then the police went to the house. When they went to the house, they didn't find the gun. So
was he there?
He was there, yes.
Okay.
And that's why he got so upset because I called the police.
And then what happens? Did you leave the house?
Yeah, anyway, I had to go to the house to sleep. And he say, "Why are you still here? You have to go." And he say, "It's where I am sleeping, where I'm living. I have no place to go."
Tell me how you end up out of the house. What happens that forces you out of the house? He gets a restraining order?
Because he went to the next day to the police and say that I tried to kill him. I put
tried
a
to
knife
kill him how?
In one knife in his stomach, and I told him, "Get out and get away of me. If no, I'm gonna kill you."
Okay. Did that happen?
No.
Okay. So he tells the police that and he gets a restraining order?
Yeah.
And the restraining order, part of the
next-
restraining order says you have to leave the house.
No, the police come to the house next day at 6:30 in the morning, and they take me in the jail.
Did she put a knife to your stomach
Yes, ma'am.
and say what?
Her words were, "I know you have a gun. You hid it from the police. You come near me, I'm going to stab you." She never said she'd kill me.
Oh, well, if you have a gun and you come near me with a gun, I'd stab you too. What
Ma'am,
about
I have-
that caused her to get arrested?
Ma'am, I have never owned a gun. I have never possessed a gun. I have never shot a gun. I
Did
don't
she
like
do
guns.
anything with the knife?
She was holding it with her hand towards my stomach.
Here's what I want.
about
I want
2
you to
feet
come
away.
up forward, and there's my bailiff. Pretend my bailiff is.
If you come near me, I'm going to stab you.
And what did you do? You backed out? Okay. And why was she saying that to you? Were you coming near her?
I came into the kitchen to get something to eat.
Okay. And according to you, what she says is, I know you have a gun, you hid it from the police, you come near me, and I'll stab you.
Yes.
And so you go to the police the next day, you get arrested, you have a criminal case pending. Who's representing you on the criminal case?
My attorney,
So the attorney who's representing you, is it a private attorney or a public defender?
private.
Okay. According to you, he's reached out to you after all this and was trying to get back together? Did he reach out to you and tell you he still loves you and wants to get back together?
Yes, of course.
When did that happen?
After I got arrested. And he put me arrested because I left the house at 10 a.m. in the morning. And he said I tried to kill him at 9:30 in the morning. And then his attorney called me and tried to make some conciliation for my divorce. I say, no, I'm not going to make conciliation. And then...
Meaning the attorney tried to settle with you that if you pay X, then...
To him, yeah. He want to pay to him a lot of money.
Well, he says you damaged the radio. Did you break the radio?
No.
Is that
Not
in the
yet.
restraining order that you broke the radio?
No.
According to you, did she break the radio before or after you applied for the restraining order?
That would be before.
Why wouldn't it be in the restraining order that she busted your radio?
Because at the time I was more concerned about being stabbed with a knife than a broken radio.
So when did you notice that? Did you ever see the radio broken or no?
No.
So then why would he bust the radio when it's no longer going to be in your possession?
I don't know. How can I break my car? How can I destroy my car? And after one month, he started to ask for the money for the car. He was asking for the money, the
Where
taxes.
were you living at that point?
At that point, I was living in the in the house of my friend.
Okay, so now you're separated.
Yeah.
The divorce is pending. Your criminal charges are pending. And now he is suing you for $300 for a tow. Tell me about that. Where does a tow come into play?
Because I didn't have the keys, because she got rid of the key.
Did you ever return a key to him, or?
When I leave the house, because the police take me into the jail, I had no time for
Okay,
take
you keep
the
putting
key.
your hands in your handcuffs?
Yeah, I
Right.
had used my cell phone and my
Her hands were in
document.
handcuffs. She couldn't give you a key. All right, and then, so you had to tow it. Wasn't there a spare key in the house?
When we bought the car, it was only one key.
Why would you buy a car with only one key? Why wouldn't you get another key?
I thought there was two. The guy said he had to look in the shop to find it, and he never found it. So we only had one key,
Okay.
and she had
And
it.
according to you,
Yes, that's true. But when Christmas time, he gave me the second key, the copy of the key.
that he put that in your stocking?
Yeah, in my stocking. He gave
Do you
me
have a
the copy.
picture of it? Why do you have a
Yes.
picture of it?
I got the copy for the key, but he always keep the copy because in the case that I love the original case,
So wait, he put a copy of the key in your,
in the stocking
okay, as a present?
as a present.
Yeah, these things are actually pretty expensive, right?
Very.
They were very expensive. How much
Yeah.
did it cost to get the other copy?
Nothing, because that wasn't the key to the car.
Oh,
That
so
was
what
just,
is
I told
this?
her I would take it to the shop to get a key made.
Oh, so
but
this
we
was
never
just
did.
a placeholder, like?
Yeah.
Okay, and you never did it?
Nope.
All right, so in any event, so it gets towed, then $609 to rekey it because she didn't return the key, I guess, and monies to replace the radio and monitor. Do you have pictures of the damaged radio?
Yes, ma'am.
What's this a picture of?
That's a picture of her keychain.
Her keychain. Okay, but why is it here? What am I supposed to glean from it? Why did you put it in evidence?
Because these were the keys after she got escorted out of the house. She told the police when she was being escorted she lost the key.
Where did you find those?
This key. This is a facsimile of a type of key.
Okay, but where
These
did you
were on
find
the dresser
those?
in the bedroom.
Okay.
To get this facsimile,
Please leave
off
the
of
car
these.
keys on the kitchen table tonight.
right, on the
And
24th.
then this shows that somebody has banged the car radio.
Yeah.
What is this a picture of?
That's the keys.
Where?
Her
Oh,
keychain
on the table?
table. There's a second picture that went through that.
You mean blown up?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so this is a picture of the car key on that keychain. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes, along
Okay.
with the house keys. And to lose the
And
keys,
this is the
like
two
she
of
said,
you?
yeah, in a happier moment.
And what is this a picture of?
That was a picture I took of the car from the outside because couldn't get in with the broken radio.
How
It
can you
doesn't-
see in this picture that there's a broken radio? Because you can only see it.
Yeah, it doesn't show too well.
Yeah, no,
that's
how
why.
could you see it? Because
Oh,
you
from the-
couldn't get in, so how
No,
could you
from
see it?
From the window, I could see the monitor.
How come
crap.
I can't see it from the window?
And it's a crappy picture. In color,
You're
it looks
suing
brown.
for $2,329, monies for penalty from loan company. Tell me about that. Why would that be her responsibility?
Well, if I didn't have to take the car off the road because of her poor driving habits and the ticket she got, which I got stuck with, then I wouldn't have taken the car off the road. And the loan company
Why
found
would
out
you
about
get
it
stuck with her ticket?
because the car was in my name.
Yeah,
the
but so what?
registration
Was it a
in my
moving
name.
violation or a parking ticket?
No, there was 2 moving violations, I believe, zipping through tolls on the Easy Pass, going out to wherever, JFK or to.
Okay.
And there was one running a red light by the camera.
Okay.
And all those take really
Okay,
have a
but
picture
what is
of
this
the.
$2,329 penalty
Right.
from a loan company? When you took out a loan in order to be big man on campus and give her the car and, and all this.
I never gave her the car.
Okay, well then when
I
you
never
took out
said
a
it was a
loan
gift.
in order to have a second car in your house that the
Right.
person you were married to could use, when you did that, why was that not on you? Why does she all of a sudden have to pay back all this stuff? That wasn't the original plan. The original plan was happily ever after. So long as she's the nice, submissive woman she was the first 6 months before she got a job and then got friends.
Welcome back to the People's Court. These two litigants were married after meeting in Colombia, but that marriage fell apart in a big way. The plaintiff says the defendant broke a car radio and even tried to stab him. The defendant says that's just not true. Let's go back to the courtroom.
What'd you end up doing with the car? Where's the car now?
Sold.
Okay. So there's a deficit because you took out a loan, and of course the car's depreciated.
Yes.
All right. Then almost $800 for lost wages and what? Preparing your case?
one day here, because I do work nights.
So that's what it is.
And then the other day would be-
157.76 for aggravation just to get to 5,000, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So essentially, you're saying she owes you all this money because she didn't give you a key when she got carted off to jail and she bashed a radio. You didn't see her bash the radio. You just know the radio was bashed when you came to the car. You didn't tell the police about it when they were on the property because the radio bashing had happened before the police got there. You didn't tell the police about it, and that's what we got. So what evidence do you have that she bashed the radio? Even you didn't believe it enough to go ahead and tell the police that she had bashed it and accuse her of it with the police. How are you going to prove it in my courtroom?
I was hoping the circumstantial evidence for the jihad vehicle. The vehicle was fine before she had it and took it away. And when she came back home, it was damaged.
Okay, and according to you, you never went away and it was never damaged in your possession, right?
No.
See, I don't know when it was damaged because you don't make a police report about it, which would then fit, set the time in stone of when it got damaged. I would know, well, it had to get damaged before then because he reported it to the police. Yeah. Okay. I've heard enough, and I've got to tell you, there are plenty of marriages that work with this tremendous age difference. I don't doubt that this is a marriage that was actually born of love because it lasted for so long before she showed up in America and you were able to get her here. This isn't my typical case of, we knew each other for 20 minutes, I married her, and then I tried to bring her over here. This isn't that kind of case. You don't have any evidence that she bashed the radio. She would certainly never, under any stretch of the imagination, be responsible for a loan in your name on the car or any deficit because you're upside down now when you decide that you're going to sell the car that you, according to her, you gave to her. It is a marital asset, right? Because it happens after. So you basically threw away you have half her car. That's going to all come out in the divorce. So in this lawsuit that you have filed against her, I find in her favor. I do not rule in your favor. And that dispenses of this. But you folks are still going to face criminal court. That's the most important thing that's going on right now. And you, of course, still have the divorce that you have in front of you, where I guess things like the key and the spare key and who gets what, and I sold it for X. How much did you sell it for?
65.
6,500, and whether you have a claim to it because it's a marital asset at the time, it doesn't matter whose name it is, but it's a marital asset. There's all kinds of stuff going on. I'm going to leave in the divorce court's hands. Good luck to both of you.
So the plaintiff fails to prove his case to the judge. Mr. Deegan, what are you thinking right now?
Well, this is only the first case.
Yeah.
There's a lot more to go. There's still the divorce and everything else.
Right.
So we're just warming up.
Are you still interested in getting back with her?
There's a lot of water under the bridge, but she hasn't reached out to me either, so it's going to be hard.
Very interesting. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Sorry about it. Okay. So now here comes the defendant. And what's your reaction to what just happened?
I had enough for proof that I make anything in the case. Still keep going. I have more jobs to do. I have to show up a lot of things. This man is going to destroy my life, and I have to make something.
Good luck
Thank
to
you
you.
so much.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. What do you think, Harvey?
So, look, I want to give you guys some advice that is so important. If you are in an abusive relationship, and it doesn't matter if you're married, if you have a boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, you need to protect yourself. And if somebody is doing something bad to you and they're hurting you, go to the courthouse and get a restraining order. You generally don't need a lawyer, and the clerks can often be helpful.
This is the plaintiff, Shauna Baptiste. She says she used to rent a room from the defendant in her apartment, and the woman secretly installed a video camera to spy on her. Her rights have been violated. The woman saw her without her clothes on. She definitely deserves a rent rebate and is suing this louse for the $7,715 she's definitely owed. This This is the defendant, Cassandra Cabrera. She says the plaintiff maliciously ripped the security camera she had in a common area of the apartment down and put it in a bucket of water. The woman's a menace. She certainly doesn't owe her any money because the cops told her to install the security camera. And if anyone's owed money today, it's not the plaintiff. That's for darn sure. She's accused of being nosy. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $4,825 for past due rent and property damage.
All parties, please get ready. Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
All right. So, Ms. Baptiste, you were renting a room from this defendant, correct?
Yes.
And how much were you paying?
$700 a month.
All right. You moved in when?
July 8th of 2019.
Okay. Now, at first things were going well, right?
Yes.
You used to babysit her children. According to you, did you get paid for babysitting or?
No, it was just like a few hours or an hour, 45 minutes, 20 minutes. She'll run out to the store or whatever.
All right. So, but everybody was getting along.
Yes.
What went wrong?
Basically, it was after probably the week before Thanksgiving or the week, let's say the week after, she was just coming in from work and I was sitting at the table eating my dinner. And she's like, oh yeah, Shauna, please clean up the drain when you're done. So I'm just like lost, like, what are you talking about? You know, she's like, clean up the drain when you're done. That's all. So I'm just like, okay. I was like, you have kids here too, and they eat stuff, you know, and they put all types of stuff in there, you know. So I just stayed quiet. I went in my room because I felt embarrassed because she had her babysitter there.
That's it? That's what went wrong? Okay. So what ends up happening? Tell me your story. Because you're suing for pain and suffering. You're suing for every penny you ever paid in rent to be returned to you. Why?
After all of this had happened, I just stopped, you know, speaking to her. Then I get a call from the room agency stating that, oh, Cassandra doesn't need you in the room anymore.
Okay, let's talk about that a second. Who is your contract with, them or her?
It's actually no contract. Basically, they are legally a room agency. You go to them to find a room, and they find people who are renting rooms.
Right. So you guys have just a month-to-month contract, or is there a lease?
It's a month-to-month.
It's a month-to-month. Okay. So she notifies them rather than talking to you and says, I don't want her here anymore. And then that happens when?
That happens like the last week in November.
Is that accurate, the timing?
Yeah.
Okay. And then what happens?
Then I just stayed.
And why didn't you just tell her? It was just too strained?
She wasn't speaking to me.
Okay.
At all.
Now, what does that mean? Does that mean you're talking to her and she won't answer, or what does it mean?
She would just come in with her face and, you know, and very intimidated and go in her room. So, you know, my mom came one day. I wasn't even caring about that. I was letting her rock, you know, like stay there. As long as you pay rent, it's cool. We don't have to be friends, you know. But my mom came over to watch the kids one morning, and she was like, hi, Shauna. And Shauna just kept walking. So as my mom, she's like, you know, you can't live in a place where the person doesn't talk to you because you can't trust them and you have small children here. So she said, you should call the room agency so they can help you and tell them you don't need the room anymore so that she can move out, which was the original thing, you know, like if you need the person out, you will call the agency and they will take them out. So I did the procedure. So then after that, let Shauna finish.
Things got hairy.
You call the room agency after the first 30 days.
You could still talk to someone and say this isn't working out, but she feels like you're not talking to her, so she doesn't want to. So go ahead. What happens?
Basically, I didn't say anything to her for the simple fact that I felt that she owed me an apology and should have sat down and spoke to me when she made that comment when she came into the door from work. She didn't even say, hey, Shauna.
I understand. Everybody thinks they're right.
Right.
Right. And in life, because you're young. How old are you?
I'm 39.
How old are you?
32.
Okay, listen to me, because I'm a little bit older. So I've lived longer. I don't like the way you people laughed, by the way. I've lived longer. And sometimes it is less important to be right than it is to be at peace. Just remember that. It is less important to be right than it is to be at peace. This is your living situation. You got kids there. You're living there. It's at some point, I may feel somebody owes me an apology, but if I don't make peace, I'm not happy. So I would rather, the thing that should be rolling off your tongue all the time is let's talk, let's see if we can, that should be rolling off your tongue with your children, with your mate, with your roommates, with your mother, with whoever it is. it should not be a big deal. There should not be a silent freeze because people communicating understand each other. And then you would have said, listen, you kind of embarrassed me because you implied that I was a pig. Oh, I didn't mean to imply you were a pig. I was just annoyed because there was rice. Whatever it is. But when people don't communicate, this is what happens. And this got really, really bad because we're now going to talk about thousands of dollars and an arrest. Okay, so now you talk to me. What ends up happening?
Basically, when I was staying there, I was just, 2 weeks or what have you, I wasn't speaking because I just...
Did you pay rent in November?
Yes, I did.
Did you cancel the check?
No, it wasn't a check. I sent it to her through Zelle.
Through Zelle?
Zelle, yes.
Zelle.
Mhm.
Okay. Did you receive rent in November?
She canceled both checks since the beginning of November.
Are
so
you
even
saying,
before,
wait, checks or Zelle?
Zelle, the
so
payment.
she can't. Do you have evidence that she canceled?
I do. So even before the rent she paid before the argument, she canceled. So that's where we are with this lady.
Okay, so hold on and show me. She's saying you canceled the Zelle payment.
It went through. There's no way to cancel once it goes through. Once you have sufficient funds in your account.
Was. Well, did you have insufficient funds?
I have sufficient funds in my account.
That's so weird. Show me your Zelle account. Was she paying the rent half and half, $350 every 2 weeks?
Yeah, she had asked me if she could pay it every 2 weeks, and I said, okay, cool. I know everybody doesn't get paid every week.
Now, you end up, let's fast forward. According to her, you canceled November. According to you, you paid November.
Yeah.
And then what happens in December? Do you pay December?
No, because I knew she already wanted me out. On December 13th after 1 a.m., her and her boyfriend came into the room. When I was there, the door was closed, and she said, "You stupid black, why you called the management office on me? You watch and see."
So we're skipping all kinds of stuff. What happened on December 13th?
No, actually, on December 13th, Shauna here, she called my landlord. I am a single mom with 3 small kids, okay? The reason why she's staying in my apartment is because I need to make rent to keep a roof over my kid's head, which I was struggling with. My attorney calls me that my management company's attorney told him that somebody called and said, I sublet my apartment to them.
Are you allowed to or not?
No, I did not sublet my apartment. She said I sublet my apartment to her. I didn't. I lived there with my children.
Well, technically speaking, no, you're right. You are right legally. You can get a roommate.
I can get a roommate.
So stop a second. Now, here's my question to you. On December 31st, what occurs?
I had seen a camera on her daughter's dollhouse.
Where is the dollhouse located?
Okay, so the dollhouse is all the way at the end.
Of what?
In the hallway.
Okay.
Of the apartment. So I wait till everyone leave and I stay in my room because I don't want, I already know it's a tension between me and her. So I stay in my room and I come out after they leave. So I see a camera there and I'm like, what in the world, what is this? And it's plugged in and it's on. So I thought it was just there, just to be there. So I took the camera and I'm looking at it and I unplugged it. And it was a mop bucket right next to the dollhouse in front of her room. And I just dropped it in there.
In the water?
Yes.
Okay.
Just the reason on my defense is because she's taking me to the point where I didn't want to know, conflict, physical conflict, because.
And how did you think that taking her camera, ripping it off the dollhouse and sticking it in water was going to.
Rip it off of the dollhouse.
Taking it off the dollhouse and putting it in a bucket of water was going to create peace.
Because I was so frustrated. I already was.
Yeah, that just sounds like typical one-upmanship of anger. That doesn't sound like trying to keep peace. It sounds like you're angry.
I've tried.
Now, according to your complaint, you were naked when that happened?
Well, I walk around the house nude. Right?
Why?
When nobody's there. When nobody's there. Because
no one wants that. Whether there's a camera or not a camera, no one wants that because it's a little. I don't need to go into specifics, do I?
I was walking around from the bathroom to my room, and sometimes I'll forget my towel in my bedroom, so I'll go. But walking around the whole house, no. But it's times where I have.
Did you ever see her nude on any of that?
One time when she had just moved in, this is.
Oh, has that camera been there since she moved in?
No, I did this after she called my landlord because I felt, now she has malicious intent.
Okay.
Because if I get evicted, what am I going to do with my 3 small kids?
I got it. So you put the camera on.
So I put the camera because I don't have locks on my doors. You can open it with a quarter.
Okay.
So my belongings are there and my children are sleeping.
Okay, so you put the camera.
I put the camera because I don't trust her.
Right.
So I put the camera. I was.
Did you ever tell her, by the way, there's going to be a camera?
No, but the camera was in plain sight.
Yeah, I know.
It wasn't hidden.
I know, but you probably should have because she's renting the room, but she has access to the other places. And if you're going to have a camera there, you should probably say it. But go ahead. So what happened?
So the day that she did that, I told her, When
That she did what?
When she grabbed the camera, she
So
wasn't
do you have her?
naked.
Do you actually have the video of her grabbing the camera?
The video got deleted, but
Darn
I
it! All right,
have
go
a
on.
picture.
Hold on.
So this is it. She's wearing her pajamas. She wasn't naked.
Yep, she's got something on. This is the one, right?
Yeah, so she grabs it, and that's when the picture goes blank. And then, of course, you know, I have to be careful because I have all my
Okay,
personal
why
things
did
there.
you grab it and throw it in the water bucket? Because you didn't want to be taped?
Yeah.
Then why didn't you just put a tape on it? Like a piece of masking tape?
Well,
or
I didn't know.
You didn't know what?
I didn't.
You know what you're doing when you throw it in water? If you had taken it apart and then just put it next to it, that'd be one thing. You maliciously put it in water. So what did you, by the way, did you ever see her naked on any of those tapes?
No, I didn't. However, I did walk into the apartment one day. Sometimes I stay at my mom's because she lives nearby. And if it's too late, I stay with the kids, you know? And I guess she hadn't heard us in the apartment. And I walked in and she's like, oh, I'm naked. And I thought that was a little odd because not even I am naked in my own apartment.
Okay, all right, enough
But,
naked
you know,
talk.
that's her
So
thing.
now what happens is, do you actually see that this happens when you decide, let me check up on my tape? Or
No,
how do you
I saw
know?
it because the camera has a motion sensor. So it had sent me a text, you know?
Okay, so it sends you a text and
then
what
I
happens?
see her grab it and it goes blank. So I send her a message and I'm like, you know, there are more cameras, but there weren't any. I just wanted her to deter her from going into my personal stuff. I have my social,
So
my
you send her a
passport.
message saying there are more cameras, and
Yeah,
she
there
says,
are more cameras. And she tells me, oh, I'm not worried about you. Stop bothering me. I have rights.
So you called the police.
So the next day when I came home, I walk in. It was 23 degrees outside. I have 3 kids. She left the window open. This is the second time she leaves the window open in the room.
How did you know? Because the door's open?
The first time around, the babysitter told me, you know, the apartment's very cold. She left the window open, but I don't know how to get in the room. That was before when I could change it with the coin. But she took it upon herself to change the lock without my permission. So I couldn't get in. When I came in the apartment and it was cold on the 1st, I called NYPD.
1st of January.
I called NYPD. I didn't even call about the camera. They asked me about the camera. And I told them, you know, I need to get in the room. It's not my property. I can't get in. But the window is open. And they were there. And they told me, open the door. She had forgot to lock the door, actually. So I opened the door. I went in and they said, go ahead, close the window. They watched me do that because she claims that I did it, you know, without permission, whatever. When we came back out, I told them what's going on with this woman, that she's, you know, she's basically terrorizing me in my own home with my kids. And I'm telling them, look, she got the camera, and the camera was still in the bucket. So he's like, oh, okay, where's the camera? I said, you know, she damaged it in the bucket. So then that's when
Did the bucket have water?
Yes, because I was mopping before I left,
Yeah.
you know, cleaning for New Year's. So I took it out, and then that's where they're like, oh, okay, now this is a misdemeanor, so we can arrest her on those grounds.
So
you
what
know?
happens? Is she there at the time? No.
She wasn't there. She didn't come back because this woman is a coward. She won't face me unless there's some...
So how did they end up arresting her? They arrested her later that day?
There was a detective looking for her for like 2 weeks, and then like a week. Oh, on the 12th.
What day did she get arrested?
I believe she got arrested on the 13th.
Okay, was she in your house between January 1st and the 13th?
She wasn't, because she's a coward, like I said.
Okay, so how did she get arrested on the 13th? Where? Where'd you get arrested?
It was the 14th, and I was at my doctor's appointment.
How'd they find you?
They called my phone and left a message and said for me to please call the detective so he can speak to me.
He didn't call you before the 1st?
No.
Okay, so then you speak to the detective and they say what? We have a warrant for you, or come on in and talk to me?
They said come on in and talk to us.
So you come on in and then they arrest you?
Yes.
All right, so this is the middle of January.
So I speak to the detective and I tell him what's going on. You know, this woman is suing me through small claims court. This is the second lawsuit I have from this lady.
Okay, the first lawsuit was
because she wanted to reoccupy my apartment. Obviously, you can't reoccupy my apartment. You and I don't get along. And her lawsuit was for me to get evicted. I am the main leaseholder.
Wait. She filed
another lawsuit because she
Tell me the 2 lawsuits she's filed.
She's filed this one for me to pay her back the rent she lived.
Okay,
and then she filed another one because she said I illegally changed my locks, which I didn't. That was last week. It was settled. Then she also said I prevent her from getting her belongings, which is a lie because I have a text message from her asking me to give her more time to find a place to stay to go pick up her stuff. I never told her she couldn't pick up her stuff. However...
Tell me what happened in that case when you say that settled. How did it settle?
The magistrate told her that she obviously needs to find a place to stay because she cannot live with me and my children because we don't get along.
What was that lawsuit that you filed?
Oh, illegal lockout.
Okay.
Because when I went to the house, she told the babysitter in Spanish, El muchacha la loca. She's saying to her in Spanish that I'm local. So she's afraid. Now the babysitter is afraid to even let me in. So she had the chain on the door. So I had to call the cops to get in because I
So you
opened the door.
filed for an illegal lockout. What was your objective? To be able to live there and get back in, or to get your stuff?
No, just to get my stuff.
So it gets settled for you to have a certain date and time to get your stuff. Has the
That's
stuff been
correct.
removed?
Yes.
Oh, hallelujah. So
I'm
we're
free.
done, right?
Thank God.
We're done. So now the only question, let's talk about it. You have a lawsuit here for $3,500 because you want the $700 a month that you paid while you lived there paid back to you. Under what legal theory would that happen? You lived there.
She broke the agreement that we had because
By?
I was what I signed, what I filled out. I believe I filled out for a year for me to stay.
Give me
there.
the proof of that.
I don't.
Then you don't have a contract for a year because you can't prove it, right?
Right.
Right. So now,
This is what
you
she
also,
said, my landlord.
You also are suing for $2,215 in hotel bills. Okay. Why are you staying at a hotel?
Because I couldn't bear to be there with all the stress that was going on. And again, I stated that I'm on medical leave.
Why would, okay, now I understand that. I understand what you're saying. I'm trying to understand why you were saying that she has to pay that.
She knew that I was on medical leave and I have diabetes since I was 7 years old. So my sugars have to be a certain range before I get hernia surgery, which hasn't happened yet with me finding a place to stay that's peaceful.
These are
somewhere to go.
hotels that you paid for while you were living there?
No.
Hotels that you paid for when?
When she told me that I had to leave, she didn't want to speak to me. She didn't want me in the house
she
no
told
more.
you had to leave, but you didn't leave. So the first time that you left was when the police arrested you, which wasn't until...
She left on January 1st.
Okay, so
January
show me your
31st.
hotel bills.
That was December
Show me your hotel
31st.
bills you're talking about.
Okay.
Okay, this is in December. Why would she pay your hotel bill in December? Because you didn't feel like staying
No,
there
that's
because it was
December.
awkward?
No.
That doesn't mean that the person has to pay your hotel bills.
No, Your Honor. I was going through a lot with her before that. She kept on talking to people about me and speaking loud in the house.
Now
and
I'm
I
not
would have no
asking you,
peace.
now I'm telling you.
Okay.
That does not rise to the level of a legal obligation for her to eat rent, not get paid rent, and pay hotel bills, which is what you're asking for. That does not rise to that level. The fact that you guys are awkward with each other, you don't like each other, and each of you are, talking about people, whatever you're saying to me, none of it rises to the level. If you feel like you need to stay in a hotel for your peace, good for you. But that is different from someone else having a legal obligation to pay for your hotel. And pain and suffering, why? Because you guys don't get along? You have a counterclaim against her. According to you, you are suing for the rent because according to you, you didn't pay it. We're going to put a little pin in that because that's what we're going to figure out through Zelle. I'm going to need you to check your Chase account to see if it went through.
I mean, I didn't even know she had canceled those checks until I got home. Oh, I was on my way home and I get a call from ACS that Shauna had called telling them that I was a negligent mother to my children. So this is where
You
this
called
gets started.
ACS
This woman
after
is
you
a
got arrested?
psychotic person.
Stop. You called the Child Protective Services for the state after you got arrested for destroying the camera?
I told ACS that it was times when I would watch her children, and it was a time where I visually seen her go into her room and lock the baby in her room with a stroller. She'll put it over the door so the baby couldn't get out. And she has a 2-year-old. So I'm
Yes,
like, just sitting there, just minding my business, basically. This happened a few times from the time that I moved in. I noticed this happening around, let's say...
What else did you
August,
say to them?
September. So I also told them that she smokes, and the house was smelling like...
Smokes what?
Smokes weed and hookah because she had her boyfriend there, and the whole house on 2 occasions was smoking.
So let me ask
smelling
you.
like weed.
Apparently that bothered you a lot, and you were worried about the children, right?
Yes.
But you only called
No, I didn't.
Child Protective Service. I haven't said my question
sorry.
yet. You only called them after you got arrested for criminal mischief. You never called in July, August, September, October, November, December, did you?
No.
So you did it in retaliation, didn't you?
No, I didn't. Your
No,
Honor.
because it kind of looks that way.
I'm sorry.
Right? So what happened with ACS?
Well, there's an open investigation against me for my children because she said I'm negligent, which is, she knows it's a lie because I take very good care of my kids. However, yes, I do. I smoke hookah and I drink wine after work.
Stop looking at her.
And my son is 2 years old, so when I put him in the room, he knows how to open the door. When I put him down for bedtime, he'll come out like 20 times. So what I do is I put the stroller on the door so he can't get out, and he goes back to sleep. I don't lock him in there, okay?
Yeah, but how do you get in then?
I take off the stroller and I get in.
No, because
it's on the outside.
Oh, the stroller's on the other
He's 2
side.
years old, so he
I got
knows
it.
how to open the door. She knows that. She's just being ridiculous. So anyway, the point is that I don't want this woman around me or my children. I just want this done with.
That there's no question of. You have a lawsuit against her for the November all the way to January because she didn't take any of her things out.
belongings were there
But what
till
happened
Monday.
in January after you get arrested? They take you into jail. You bond out. What do you do about getting your stuff out of the apartment?
I'm still in the process of looking for a room at this time.
Okay, so it's not convenient for you to get the stuff out,
Right.
so you don't. So you're suing for January rent over that. You're not supposed to get rid of the stuff. So the stuff is now picked up pursuant to that other case, right? All right. So now the pain and suffering. I presume that what you are referring to specifically is the pain and suffering of having Child Protective Services come and investigate you.
You know, I can't sleep thinking that they're going to show up at my door and take my kids or something. Even though I know my children are okay, my kids have never gone through that. These people are asking my kids questions in the middle of the night. They don't know what that is.
I'm sorry. Are they asking your kids questions in the middle of the night?
They went to my house at 12:30 a.m. and my kids were in bed ready for school for the next day. The first time.
Now, how many times have you met with social services?
They have. Well, obviously they're not that concerned. They told me because they could tell. They could tell if my kids were neglected.
They're not that concerned. They know that there's lawsuits involved.
So
they
they're
know
gonna
it's
draw-
retaliatory, so you're not that worried either. You
No,
haven't. You
they're-
haven't. It's outrageous, but you haven't. You're not truly suffering that they're going to take away your kids because you know that they know that this is about this, right?
Yeah.
Now, your Zelle account is reflecting to you that the payment keeps getting canceled, but your Zelle account is reflecting to you that it got paid. One of those is wrong. And we've looked at both accounts, and both of you are telling the truth about what you say your Zelle accounts show. So we're going to have to get to the bottom of that, and that's going to have to happen between my court staff, you guys, and Zelle somehow after this trial. So we're going to leave, I'm going to put a pin in that. And I believe that you are entitled to November rent. So if you have not received it, then you should be receiving it. But we'll see whether you actually received it. Do you have more than one account?
No.
So the payment that, according to you, keeps getting rejected is the $350 payment, correct?
Yeah.
Over and over and over, a $350 payment. So we're going to figure out how much you're owed for November. The most you can possibly be owed is the $350. Okay. You're owed $700 for December. You're owed $525 for January. So that's $1,225 in rent plus the potential $350 of November. That is my ruling on your rent. Regarding the camera, you are entitled to an additional $38.10 because that's the cost of the camera. And then the pain and suffering and defamation of character. I find it outrageous that somebody calls Child Protective Services on you for sport, because I find that that phone call was absolutely in retaliation, but in determining how much you're entitled to, I also have to take into account that from Jump Street, it was pretty clear that nothing bad was going to happen. They have not ordered you to do anything, take any class.
I have to be, I have to get drug tested, which I don't mind because, you know, I'm fine. And they're going to
It's
monitor
annoying.
my kids.
Where do you get drug tested? You have to go somewhere?
I have to go somewhere, yeah.
Where? Have you gone or no?
No, she said she's going to send me the details so that I can go. And then.
How many times?
She didn't say how many times. She said that
All
I
right,
have to
I'm
be
ordering
drug
another
tested.
$800 for your troubles on having the department called on you. That is a verdict of $2,063.10. Plus, we're going to figure out what's happening with the $350. That's my judgment. Good luck, folks. And on your lawsuit against her, $0. Oh, excuse me. I need to deduct from that. We're going to deduct from that the security deposit that you already have on your side of the $350. Okay.
Well, it didn't work out too well for the plaintiff in court today, Ms. Baptiste. I'm sorry, but you were suing for over $7,700, and she's got a judgment against you for over $2,000, and you don't get anything on your suit.
Yeah,
What are you thinking?
It's fine. It is what it has to be.
You know you don't feel it's fine.
No, it's fine because there's nothing I can do, sir.
Okay, well, good luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. You glad this is coming to an end for you?
I am, because I'm tired of having this woman in my life. I just want her gone.
It's tough to find somebody to live in your own apartment with you. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
What do you
never
do?
going to
How do
happen
you-
again.
You
I'm never getting anybody to live with me again.
That's over?
A lesson learned. No.
Okay. Good luck to you. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. All right. Harvey?
Okay, Doug, a quick update. The defendant actually did present proof that she sent the plaintiff a $350 security check through Zelle, and that is it.
This is the plaintiff, Bruce Saint. He says he and the defendant dated, and when she showed up at his house when he had another girl there, she broke down his front door. He had to call the cops to get the out-of-control maniac removed from his premises. Before the cops arrived, though, she grabbed a shovel and used it to smash up his very expensive electric bike. She refuses to pay him for the havoc she caused, and he's here in the name of justice, suing her for the $1,000 he's owed. This is the defendant, Tiffany White. She says she and the plaintiff had broken up, and he was the one who came to her house first while she had a man there. He became enraged and broke down her bedroom door and smashed up her rocking chair. She does admit to hitting his electric bike with a shovel a few days later, but she paid $700 for that bike. So there's no way she's giving him any money because at the end of the day, she's the one who's owed money. She's accused of taking it out on a bike. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $1,718 for her broken chair, door, and harassment.
All parties, please raise your right hand. Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Bruce Saint,
Yes.
you are suing your former girlfriend?
Friend.
Friend?
The date off and on.
Tiffany White, for $1,000 that you say she owes you for an electric bike that she destroyed in a fit of jealousy. You are counterclaiming against him $1,718 for a rocking chair, a bedroom door, and harassment. The items being things he destroyed in a fit of jealousy. Let me hear from you first.
On August 10th, Tiffany White came to my house, and I would not let her in. So she started banging on my door, making a lot of noise. So the landlord come downstairs and tell her, like, you cannot do that because I'm not the only one who lived there. So she did not listen, so she continued to bang, bang until she broke the lock.
Of the building or of your door?
Of my apartment. I live on apartment 1 on the first floor. So this went on for about half an hour. She continued on. Everybody that lives in the building tell her to stop. She cannot do that. She told me to come outside.
Why didn't you come outside?
I did not come outside because I had company.
You had a girl?
Yeah, I had another girl.
Were you guys dating?
No, it was my friend. So when she come in, I tell her, listen, you cannot come in right now because I have company, but I will see you later. But she would not take no for an answer, so she continued.
So wait, did you open the door and walk out and say that? Did you crack the door open and say that? Or did you not open the door at all and just tell her through the door?
I told her through the door.
Okay, so she kept going and then she broke the lock?
Then she kept going, she kept pushing.
What's the woman inside saying?
Well, she's saying, what's going on? She said, I said it was.
A half an hour? The woman inside?
Yeah, it just went on. Everybody was there outside.
There's no back entrance to your place where she can get out?
There's no back entrance. There's only one entrance.
All right, so go on.
Through the front. Then she went outside. There's a first door on the outside. The first door locked on her. So now I opened the door. Then I said, listen, you cannot do that. So she started pounding on the glass, banging on the glass until the outside glass cracked. So now she went outside. She grabbed a shovel.
Where'd she get the shovel?
I don't know where she got the shovel
from. From her car or from the environment? Somewhere?
Probably from the environment, because
okay.
outside, there's like, they put the garbage outside, and there's
So she grabbed a shovel and did what?
She found a shovel, and she walked up to my bike in the driveway.
You have an electric bike in the driveway?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then she took the shovel and just started destroying the bike. She went ham, just hack it.
Do you have pictures of it?
I have pictures, and I also have video of her doing it.
You have video of her doing it?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll hand the video over. Give it to my brother.
And this is right in front of my house. The bike is in the driveway. And that's the only reason I'm here. Shh.
Would you like to see it?
No.
Because you were there, right?
Yeah.
It goes on.
Yeah, it kept on going for a while.
There's probably a ton of people videoing it, right?
Yeah, everybody had their cell phone out. My whole block was out.
What happened?
Well, me and Bruce was dating for like 3.5 years. He was not working. I was supporting him. And he told me that to go find a new man, and I did. And he came into my house and fought my friend in my house August 7th.
Wait. When did this happen that he talked
This
about?
is August 10th.
So you were with this gentleman
I was with this gentleman.
3 days earlier at your apartment?
Yes.
Wait, but when was the last time you had seen him before that? Had you two been talking or no?
Me and Bruce haven't been talking for like 2 weeks. August 5th, he started to text me. He came to my house August 5th at 9:30 at night, barging into my place saying he wanted to spend his birthday with me.
Okay.
Then he stayed there until August 10th in my apartment. Well, August 7th, he came back. He was here. He was at my place because me and him wasn't dealing anymore. I told him, don't come back to my place.
It sounded like you were dealing between August 4th and 7th. Hey, you're a free woman. You can do whatever you want. I'm not judging you. I'm just trying to get the timeline.
August 4th, August 5th, and August 6th, Bruce is at my place. August 7th.
He was at your place?
Yes, because me and him wasn't dealing anymore. It was over between us.
Okay.
He came back
and then
to
he
my
comes
place.
okay.
Come back to my place August 7th at 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, barged into my house, banged down my door, broke my bedroom door, broke my wicker chair, fought this man.
Rocking chair?
Yes.
And fought the man?
Fought this man. He left. Bruce stayed into my house from August 8th, August 9th.
Wait. He breaks into your house and beats the guy you're with, and then you invite him to stay over?
No, I didn't invite him to stay. He wouldn't leave.
Why don't you call the police and say, I have an intruder
I didn't
here?
want to call the police. I didn't want the police involved. He didn't want to leave.
Did you find that romantic when he broke into your place?
No.
Did
I
he hit
didn't,
you?
because he used to do this to me all the time.
Did he hit you?
He hits me all the time.
Did he hit you that night?
No, he hit him.
What's your name, sir?
Hughes.
Mr. Hughes?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Hughes, can you tell me what happened that night?
The night that they were talking about, I was with her. He came banging on the door, broke it down, made his way inside. Then he saw me in the bedroom, and then after that, he proceeded to attack me, and we started fighting on the bed. You know, then her father and daughter tried to break it up.
Okay. Did he punch you?
Yeah.
Were you injured?
No. Well, I sustained some bruising.
You're bruised up, and you didn't get like stitches or anything like that?
No.
What was he saying while he was hitting you? He didn't need to say anything?
No, he was just angry.
Do you know him from before or no?
Yeah, he came to the house before and did
Doing
that.
the same thing.
You know, banging down the door.
Wait, do you live with her?
No.
Okay, so you just happened to be there another time that he did that?
Yeah.
Did you see, did he break the door?
Yes.
Do you have pictures?
Yes.
And
Let's start the whole line.
Thank you.
Oh, goodness. Do you want to respond to this?
I don't know what you're looking at.
Oh, I think you do. You heard her just tell me all about it. So I'm looking at the damages that she
I
said
heard
you
her
did that
say
day.
a lot of lies, but that's
Okay,
what-
did you go into her place, bash her door down, knock it off its hinges, break her rocking chair? That's the question.
That never happened.
He's lying.
You lying.
No, he's lying.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. So, you catch your boyfriend or your girlfriend cheating in the act. Why are you looking at him?
I'm nervous.
Nervous, huh? Okay.
Well, me? Huh?
Why is she nervous?
I don't know. I was pretty adamant about my answer, though.
Okay, well, the question is, if you destroy their property in the heat of passion when you catch them cheating, do you have to pay them for the property?
Absolutely not. What? Absolutely not. In the heat of the moment? Are you kidding? If they're cheating?
I agree.
Oh,
You
it's on
should
them.
have to pay for it.
Oh, you have to pay for it.
I disagree.
I disagree too. You should, I mean, it's your actions, it's your responsibility. You
Yeah.
should definitely have to pay.
Just because they cheated doesn't mean you get.
Wait a minute, are you
get
guys
to
together?
destroy.
Are we? No.
Oh, no, I don't know. I mean, you seem to have this, anyway, going inside the courtroom.
Take a look at that. How'd that happen?
I have no idea.
You're a liar.
I have
He's
no
lying.
idea.
You're such a liar.
He's lying.
I have
You
no
are
idea.
such a liar.
in my
About
life,
the door,
Judge.
the
Why
chair.
is this guy fingering you as the guy who did that and then punched him? What's he got against you?
And I have
we got
evidence.
into we got into a tussle, but as far
Who's
as
we?
Tussle.
me and him,
It wasn't
Why?
a tussle.
I need you to stop. If you need to sit down in order to stop, then sit down. But I need you to stop. Now I need you to listen. How were you able to get to him and tussle with him? Because she's not letting you in. So I guess you broke the door down.
she let me in. I don't know how I happened to the door. I never
No.
kicked down anything. I never
She
did
let
anything.
you in to beat the man she was
No,
with?
she let me in the house. I did not.
To do what? She knows she's with a man.
Yeah, but she let me in the house. I did
would I let
not.
him in the
So
house?
who... Sit down. Go ahead and sit down a second. Who then put all the donut holes in the door?
I did not put anything on
You
the
are
hole.
such a liar.
I am not a liar.
You
I
are
never
such
seen
a
those
liar.
before. I seen the chair, but it
Okay,
was
stand
never
up, because I
broken.
want to talk to you. Come on up, come on up, come on up. How long did you date him?
For almost 3.5 years, 4 years.
Is it over?
Yes, completely.
I need you to listen to me. This is a toxic
Yes.
relationship.
Narcissistic relationship.
It's toxic
Yes.
for both of you.
Yes.
Okay? These are the kind of cases I would see in the state attorney's office where then somebody just killed somebody. Stop it. You're done with each other.
Yes.
Done. According to you, you helped him pay for the electric bike?
Yes, I did. I gave him $700.
That is not true. She never gave
In
me
the beginning of the
$700.
beginning of the relationship,
I
Bruce was
bought my
not
bike by
working. He was
myself.
selling DVDs and he was not
I bought my
working.
bike
Do you
by
have the
myself.
pictures
All
for
those
me?
pictures.
With my own money.
Where are the
No,
pictures?
I gave
my
him the
own
money.
receipts. She
I
never
gave
gave
him
me
the
any
money.
money
He
for
don't
buying the
have no
bike.
money. He didn't have any money.
You're both guilty, right? Because I got video of you bashing something
yeah,
in
I'm
with
guilty. I was fed up because I got to his house that day and he had another woman in his house and he just left my house that morning. And he told me he's gonna give me the money that when he come home, he's gonna give me the money when he get up for work. He called me at 7:30 and said,
Give you
Tiffany,
what money?
The money that I gave him that Friday morning, August
what?
10th. I
What?
gave him $20 to go to work.
Oh.
He never went to work.
No, he was with a girl.
He was with the woman.
Yeah.
I got to his place. He called me at 7:30 and said, I'm coming to your house at 9:30 to give you the money.
Oh, so
Me
his
and
plan
my
was to go all
daughter-
day long with her and then go with
yes,
you at
and
night.
then come back to me. And
Where
that's
do people get
exactly
the
what he
energy?
said after the fact.
That was not what happened.
That's exactly what he
I met up my
Can I
friend.
just ask you a question? How old are you?
I'm 44.
No, he's 12.
All right, everybody stop. In your lawsuit against her, I am finding in your favor in the amount of $1,000. And in your lawsuit against him, I am also finding in your favor in the amount of $1,000. So the net judgment for each of you is 0. Okay? Now start acting like adults, you too. Start acting like adults and leave each other alone. Good luck, folks.
Thank you.
Hold on right there, both sides, please.
Well, this is interesting. Both parties won $1,000. So you, but you walk out with nothing.
It's okay with me.
Yeah, but the judge said it's a really toxic relationship.
It is. It was.
It was.
It really was, and I'm glad it's over.
You sure it's
I'm
over?
positive it's over. I never want to see this man again.
You surprised to see the videotape? In
No,
court? Have
I
you-
know what I did. I know what I did.
That's not good.
I know it's not good at all, but I was fed up. I was fed up.
You lose your cool when you get fed up, don't you?
Yes, he does too.
He does.
So that's
too.
why we gotta, stay away from each other.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Good luck. I hope they don't have
Thank you.
a relationship like this again. All right. Mr. Saint, you kept saying it was you weren't lying. The judge didn't believe you at all. How do you feel about that?
I did not lie about anything. I did not lie about anything. It is what it is. She came up. A reason that I'm here, I filed a lawsuit because she came to my house and destroyed my property. You cannot come to somebody's house and destroy their property. So I don't know where they do that at, but that's it.
Well, you got $1,000, but you got to give her $1,000 too, so it's a wash. Good luck. I hope you don't have a relationship like this again. Okay?
All right.
It's over, right?
It's over.
Okay. That's good.
Doug, yes, this is criminal. There is no excuse for doing it. It doesn't matter if it's the heat of passion. It is vandalism. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case of the way into the courtroom right now.